So when we're taking a look at our credit score is broken down into 5 parts. We have our payment history, which is 35%, our credit utilization, which is 30%. So that's 65% of our credit score just on those two things. And then we have our length of credit, which is 15%, our new credit, and that's going to be our inquiries, and then our credit mix. And our credit mix is going to be, do you have credit cards and loans? And like it could be auto loans, mortgages, credit cards, line of credit. That's going to be your mix of credit. So today, what I want to do is I want to focus on late payments. Are late payments illegal? And what I'm going to do is, I have talked about late payments, but not as much as I've talked about our credit utilization. And I'm going to show you guys my, because I have told you guys that I do have late payments on my credit reports, but we're going to just dig in to really see, what's going on. So in regards to, what is really our credit report? Our credit report is really only telling our creditors what is the likelihood that we would repay our debts. Like if I let you borrow $10,000, how much do I know about your payment history? How much debt you have, what's the likelihood that you would pay me back? So, you're just not going to be out here letting everybody borrow $10,000. I don't think. If you would, you're going to let me borrow $10,000. Let me know if you would let me borrow $10,000 without knowing the likelihood of me giving you the money back. And so that's really what our credit report is. And so usually, let's say if you're trying to open up credit cards and things like that, they just want to take a look at your credit report to determine, how are you looking on your credit report? Do you have any late payments on there? How are you utilizing your credit that you have? Are you opening up a lot of credit cards and loans and things like that? So really, that's all it is. So for our late payments, and I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Let me share my screen. Our credit reports. So our late payments is 35% of our credit score. And really what it's saying is, how are we paying our bills? Are we paying our bills on time? Do you have any late payments, 30, 60, or 90 days? And that's going to be 30% of our score. And, if you have late payments on your credit report, wow, that's going to really hurt your credit really fast. And then it's going to take the longest for you to increase your credit score if you have late payments on there, because they can stay on your credit report for 7 years with the late payments. And it's going to take a while for them to, come off. But as you see, I actually have 5 late payments on my credit report. But I haven't had a late payment in almost, a year and 7 months. So even though I have 5 late payments that were more than 30 days, as you can see, now this is my Experian credit score. And my credit score is still relatively good at a 751 with me having 5 late payments on my credit report. Now, the thing is, are late payments illegal? If they report it on your credit report, I would say it's illegal for your creditors to report inaccuracies on your credit report. So the thing is for us to make sure to pull our credit reports. You can pull it monthly, and I believe you can pull your credit report monthly until April of 2023, and you can go onto your annualcreditreport.com and you can pull that. But I would say at least pulling your credit reports maybe quarterly at the least. Now for myself, I will go to my Chase, because I have a Chase credit card in their portal, and I'll take a look at my credit report through them. But from time to time, at least once or twice a year, I will pull my credit reports from the annualcreditreport.com so that I can see actually what's reporting on my credit report. Is everything accurate? And you want to pull all 3 of your credit reports. So you want to pull Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion to make sure that everything is reporting on there correctly. So If you have a late payment, technically the creditor cannot report a late payment. It has to be over 30 days for them to report that. So if you have a late payment on your credit reports, is it accurate? Did you get a late fee? And then if it's not correct, do you have proof that this is actually not a late payment? And if it's not, then that's when you want to go ahead and you can dispute it. But you want to make sure that you're checking your credit report, and then even like your creditors, to check to see, was that late payment really accurate on there? And then that's where you want to go and start disputing it. So I'm going to share my screen again. So as you can see here, what I was stating was, even for myself, I actually have 5 late payments on here, and the most recent one was a year and 7 months. But as you can see, my credit score is a 751. So I would say anything, especially if it's 30 days, it can definitely really impact your credit score, because it can take your credit score down pretty quickly. You can see here that right now my utilization is 1%. So that's why I say, if you want to increase your credit score fast, you really want to tackle your credit utilization. Now, this is my Experian credit score, a 751. So right now we're going to take a look at, now Rome, I'm so glad that you said this. So I see you almost at the 100 club. So we have multiple credit scores. So this credit score is my Experian, and this is a FICO 8. But listen, y'all, look, here is my Equifax score, and this is my FICO 9, and it is at an 800. And then you can see that last month my credit score actually was over a 700, but it has went down to an 800. And you can see what is impacting my credit score are the late payments, and that's what's impacting my credit score. But when you take a look at the history of my credit score, so this is going to be, I want to say this is a 763, and that was in February of 2022. And then you can see that it kind of goes, from a 763 to a 790 to finally I had got to 805 or 807, but then now it has went down to an 800 as of right now. So I would say, when we are taking a look, so I think the main thing with this is, even if you do have late payments on your credit report, depending on how long they have been on your credit report, so we can see that I haven't had a late payment in a year and 7 months. And my credit score, because I would say, really, I'm going to always use my Experian, because I would say with Equifax, it always has a higher credit score for Equifax. And I feel like when you're getting credit cards and things like that, they're usually going to use TransUnion and Experian. Even though I did pull this I pulled this Equifax 800 credit score from my Navy Federal portal. So that's where I got this from. And then this 751 for my FICO 8, I actually pulled this from the Experian credit page. But I wasn't able to unlock all of my credit scores. So these are the 2 credit scores that I have. But y'all know that last year, when in 2021, when I was applying for the Chase Sapphire Preferred credit card, I had, I want to say I had about a 700, because I wanted to get over a 700 score before I applied for that credit card. And I did have a few late payments on my credit report when I had applied for that, but I was still able to get approved. So even though, while yes, you might have a late payment on your credit report, if you can make sure your overall credit report looks good. And so that's what I do. I try to focus on my whole credit reports. And I want to take a look at my credit utilization. I want to take a look at my length of credit, my credit mix, and my new credit. Because, when I got these late payments, I did co-sign on a loan. And so around the time we had some late payments, it was some late payments that was happening. But now, as you see, that it's been over a year, and so we're just really in a good place with the loan. And so that's how I ended up getting the late payments on my credit report, because I had did a I had co-signed on a loan. And so then what I tried to do, I tried to make sure that what was it that I could do to make sure that my credit report really looked good? And so for me, that was always going to be my credit utilization, because once those late payments come on your credit report, they are going to stay on there for 7 years. And so even for my situation, I was not going to be able to dispute those, because those late payments actually happen. So I was not going to dispute those. But if you have late payments on your credit report that are inaccurate, then I would most definitely make sure to, go ahead and dispute those.
It's not a game, it's a